Hey YouTubers, this is Kevin again. Today I'm going to be setting the valves back into the cylinder head, and as I mentioned before in my previous video, I like to have the intake port starting from the left hand side in your exhaust, and I always keep everything in order because I already had to take it all out, clean it up, spray it down with brake cleaner and air it off. And like I mentioned, you always want to keep all your valves and everything in order from the direction you started with, just to make sure it aligns perfectly with the seat that you had made with the grinding compound. I'm not sure if it makes a difference, but I prefer to keep it that way and keep everything aligned. So I got my valves here, my springs, the shims, the retaining cap here, and the little plastic cap for the stem. Usually what I like to do is have a rag handy. I always put a rag or something down, an old t-shirt, on my work bench here, just to make sure that the bottom doesn't get scratched up here. And I carry this extra rag, so when you set your valves in and you're going to put the spring on and you layer down, you have something putting pressure on here that's not going to scar the bottom of your cylinder head here. So pretty much the first step that I usually do is I'll get some of this ultra slick assembly lube. Kind of coat the stem with that. Ease her on in, kind of make sure you get that lube all over the valve stem there. Alright, that one's good. Get it on your exhaust valve. Same thing, ease it in, make sure it gets all over, work it in there. Alright, now we go ahead and layer on down with the rag underneath, give it that pressure. Keep the valves all the way seated while you're setting the springs. I got this little spring compression tool here. It's a little cheapy. Picked it up at Harbor Freight. You know, I'm on a budget right now, so gotta make do with what I have. But it works. It does the job. There was a couple others that I seen on Amazon and at the O'Reilly's nearby. And they're a full clamp system, and it takes it on and off pretty easy. It's a bit more than what I could afford at the moment. I believe this was like $10 or something like that. I don't know, I'll put some links in the description below at the ones I'm talking about. Like I said, I'm doing this on a budget, and you know, this is just a do-it-yourself project at home. So I'm just getting by with, you know, what works for me. For production value, if you're, you know, doing this for a living, yeah, you'd probably want to spend the extra coin and get the better tool. Alright. Now, I don't know if it's absolutely necessary, but I think it'd be wise to probably put a little bit of assembly lube up here. Just a dab, kind of smear it around. Just make sure that's covered. Do it to both of them. Now you grab your little plastic caps here. Go ahead and toss them on before you forget. Alright, now you get your spring. Not sure if it's absolutely necessary, but put a little assembly lube on the bottom here. Put your retaining cap right on top. And I like to drop the shims right in place. So as you're compressing, it will drop right into place when it gets to the level it needs to be at. Start compressing the spring. Looks like the shim kind of fell out of place there. Go. Almost there. And then once you get the shims in place on the grooves of the valve stem, I typically like to pull it up as I start unwinding, just to make sure that the shims get locked right into place, right on those grooves, and it's not going to fall or move or get out of place as you're releasing the spring. And that's pretty much it. You got one valve set right there. Doesn't take too long, it's nothing too tedious. Like I said, if you're doing this at home, one of these is pretty basic. This should work. If you want something a little easier, less tedious, I can understand. If you have the coin, might as well pay the money for the other tool, for the better tool. If I had the money, I probably would have, just to make it a little bit easier. It's pretty much like a C-clamp type system, and it looks a lot faster than this thing. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and do the rest of them, and you guys sit there and watch, I guess. Alright, well that's pretty much it. It took probably all in all about half an hour. Probably would have only taken about 20 minutes, give or take, if I wouldn't have been explaining myself and such on video or whatever. Also, probably would have been a lot faster if I would have had the more expensive tool. But this did, the job, as you obviously saw. It did what I needed it to do for, a low price, so can't complain too much. Whole reason why I had to reseat my valves in general, or why this whole project started, was because the valve spring on one of my cylinder heads actually broke. Ended up dropping the valve right into the cylinder and bent the bejesus out of the other valve. I had to buy a new one. And also scored the inside of the cylinder ever so slightly. Nothing to be too concerned about, but I'm going to go ahead and try to buff it out a little bit. It's not deep enough to where you can fit a fingernail in it or any serious damage, but enough to where you slide your nail across it and you can vaguely feel it. So I'm probably just going to try to buffer that out a little bit just to make sure it doesn't cause any problems or wear on the piston rings or anything like that. Not too sure if I'll make a video on it, but we'll see here in the near future. If not, you'll see videos of something else popping up here soon. Well, that should do it for today, and until next time.